NBA moves 2017 All-Star Game from Charlotte over HB2 bill. The NBA is moving the 2017 All-Star Game from Charlotte, North Carolina, because of the league's objection to the state's House Bill 2, which limits anti-discrimination protections for lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people in the state. In a statement, the league said it hopes to reschedule the game for Charlotte in 2019. Since March, when North Carolina enacted HB2 and the issue of legal protections for the LGBT community in Charlotte became prominent, the NBA and the Charlotte Hornets have been working diligently to foster constructive dialogue and try to effect positive change, the league said. We have been guided in these discussions by the long-standing core values of our league. These include not only diversity, inclusion, fairness and respect for others but also the willingness to listen and consider opposing points of view. Our week-long schedule of all-star events and activities is intended to be a global celebration of basketball, our league, and the values for which we stand, and to bring together all members of the NBA community, current and former players, league and team officials, business partners, and fans. While we recognize that the NBA cannot choose the law in every city, state, and country in which we do business, we do not believe we can successfully host our All-Star festivities in Charlotte in the climate created by HB2. The statement said the league will announce an alternate venue for next year's event in the coming weeks. The Vertical reported Thursday that New Orleans had emerged as a frontrunner to host the 2017 All-Star Game. Several other NBA cities have become options, including Chicago and New York/Brooklyn, sources told ESPN. Louisiana, Illinois and New York all have specific state protections that don't allow for discrimination against LGBT people, with specific legislation passed this year. Los Angeles will host the 2018 All-Star Game. It's a big decision for the NBA to pull it away from Charlotte. I guess we'll see what happens from here now. I feel bad for Michael Jordan and for the NBA too. We as players didn't think it was going to get to this. It's unfortunate. Knicks forward Carmelo Anthony. North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory reacted to the NBA's decision with a statement that said multiple groups had misrepresented our laws and maligned the people of North Carolina for months. American families should be on notice that the selective corporate elite are imposing their political will on communities in which they do business, thus bypassing the democratic and legal process, he said. Charlotte Mayor Jennifer Roberts said she was deeply disappointed the HB2 bill caused the NBA to move February's game. All-Star Weekend would have provided an excellent opportunity to further showcase our great and welcoming city, she said in a statement. Charlotte has shown its commitment to equal rights and inclusion and will continue to promote those values. Stephen Curry, who grew up in Charlotte because his father, Del, played for the Hornets, told SportsCenter that he was disappointed the city won't host the game but understood Commissioner Adam Silver's position. What really hurts, Curry said, is just I know how much that would have meant to the city. We support the decision, he added, but at the end of the day, I love Charlotte. I love the city. New York Knicks forward Carmelo Anthony also said he feels bad for the city. "Aside from all the politics, I feel bad for MJ Hornets chairman Michael Jordan because I knew what that was going to do for the city of Charlotte," Anthony told ESPN. "It was definitely going to boost everything. For him being able to bring All-Star Weekend to Charlotte, I feel bad for him and for the NBA too. We as players didn't think it was going to get to this. It's unfortunate," added Kevin Durant via Twitter. The bill, also called the Public Facilities Privacy and Security Act, which was signed into law earlier this year by McCrory, requires transgender people to use bathrooms that correspond to the sex on their birth certificates. The law applies only to bathrooms in government buildings, public schools and public universities. It does not apply to private universities, such as Duke. Private companies are allowed to implement any policy they choose. A provision of the original bill also excluded gender identity and sexual orientation from statewide anti-discrimination protections. McCrory recently signed legislation that restored the state's original non-discrimination protections removed by HB2. Multiple NBA sources told ESPN that Golden State Warriors Chief Operating Officer Rick Welts, who is openly gay, gave an impassioned and well-received speech at the owners' meetings last week in Las Vegas, effectively explaining the wider impact of HB2 and how many people it might affect around the NBA community, especially in an All-Star Weekend scenario. Before Team USA practiced in Las Vegas on Thursday, and before the NBA announced its decision, Indiana Pacers forward Paul George told ESPN, "I'm huge on keeping your word. I'm not necessarily saying it's bad for the NBA to move it. Charlotte is a growing city, and the Hornets have picked that program up. It's a shame it's possible that we take that away from them." Turner Sports, which broadcasts the All-Star Game and the festivities associated with All-Star Weekend, said in a statement that it agreed with the NBA's choice. "We fully support the NBA's decision to relocate the 2017 All-Star Game and all of the weekend's events originally scheduled to be held in Charlotte, North Carolina," the statement said. "Laws to the contrary go against our fundamental belief of equality and inclusion for all individuals." ESPN, which has a broadcast contract with the NBA but will not televise the game, also said it supports the decision. "ESPN has demonstrated a strong commitment to inclusion," it said in a statement. "The NBA's decision is one which we fully support," emphatically illustrating that the league clearly stands for inclusion as well. While the All-Star Game will be moved, the league said in its statement that the Hornets operating in Charlotte is not a problem. "It is also important to stress that the City of Charlotte and the Hornets organization have sought to provide an inclusive environment and that the Hornets will continue to ensure that all patrons, including members of the LGBT community, feel welcome while attending games and events in their arena," the NBA said. The Hornets and Jordan also released a statement. "We understand the NBA's decision and the challenges around holding the NBA All-Star Game in Charlotte this season," it read. "There was an exhaustive effort from all parties to keep the event in Charlotte, and we are disappointed we were unable to do so. With that said, "We are pleased that the NBA opened the door for Charlotte to host All-Star Weekend again as soon as an opportunity was available in 2019. Before the announcement, North Carolina State Senator Jeff Jackson, D. Mecklenburg County, told ESPN that the NBA moving the All-Star Game from Charlotte is a $100 million hit to the city of Charlotte and the state. A lot of that money would go to schools, healthcare and roads. We'd sacrifice all of that for Governor McCrory's social agenda. He would rather pander to his base than fix an obvious mistake that has major consequences." Jason Collins, who became the first openly gay athlete in North America's four recognized major team sports when he played for the NBA's Brooklyn Nets in the 2013-14 season, tweeted his praise for the league. "Not all leagues are ready to pull games out of North Carolina, however," ACC Commissioner John Swafford told ESPN on Thursday that, as of now, the league will keep its December football championship in Charlotte. He did say that the conference will revisit the discussion in October. Other major sporting events in Charlotte next year include the Sprint Cup race in May and the PGA Championship in August. State Senator Joel Ford, D. Mecklenburg County, said he believes the NBA's decision will have a trickle-down effect. "I'm anticipating, from a lot of discussions I've had with executives and professionals, that the NBA was the tip of the spear," he said. "If the NBA took the All-Star Game away, it is going to put pressure on other professional sports franchises." The PGA of America, which hosts the PGA Championship, released a statement Thursday night, saying, "Since the Quail Hollow Club in Charlotte is a private facility not subject to all of the provisions of HB2, at the 2017 PGA Championship we plan to allow spectators to use the restroom that conforms with their gender identity or gender expression. As we look to future events, our willingness to consider coming back to the state of North Carolina will be severely impacted unless HB2 is overturned."